Royal celebration as Ooni of Ife finally publicly revealed the date that Queen Naomi will be returning back to the palace. My people, this is indeed a good news. Of course, I know that to some people it is not a good news, but to me it is good news. And to all who love Queen Naomi for real, who really want her back to the palace, it is indeed a good news. We do know that there have been a lot of fights over this Queen Naomi's return to the palace. And the wives have tried everything within their power to say that that did not happen. But the king have proven to them that he is still the king. Even when a lot of people will always misunderstood him, some people will come and say, why would the king always go out with these women? Why would he not take serious action against them? But from what we are hearing, they said all of those things that the king is doing, at least if you have been watching his videos, you'll find out that sometimes he will come out to tell us that he loves his wives, that he married them from all walks of life. He married great women and all of that. He will always come and praise them outside, making a lot of people believe that he loves them. But that does not mean that he doesn't love Queen Naomi. From what we are hearing, they said all of those things that he is doing is just strategy. Strategy such that people will not use some of the actions that he might take against these women against him. Because we do know that whether he likes it or not, they are still his wife. They are still his wives. And if he should come out to say that this person is this, so whenever they are talking about that person, they will say Ooni of Ife's wife. That means if he tries to bring the women down in the public, he will bring himself down too. Just like when Queen Naomi went on social media to baptize him, to say a lot of things, the king did not grant any form of interview. One is because he knows that if he should say anything against Queen Naomi or about what happened, that in years to come, people will still use it against him, And whenever they are talking about is Ooni of Ife that they will be talking about, because it's not Queen Naomi that people will talk about, it's Ooni of Ife. Because he's a great king, he knows what he is doing. This issue of praising the wives, always seeing him with the wives, he will always go out with them. But the only thing is to show them that he loves Queen Naomi more than all of them. He wants them out of the palace for Queen Naomi's sake. So when the elders are fighting him, telling him that, look, you don't have any right to throw these women out of the palace and all of that, he did not fight, but he was following them strategically. As a matter of fact, they said it got to a point that the elders, some of these Odua elders, have to bring out the royal constitution, to judge his action, telling him that according to the constitution, that you cannot send your wives out of the palace when they did not do anything to you, this and that. And we do know that all of this are happening because the wives, we are busy bribing the elders instead of giving the king peace of mind in the palace. Because I believe if he have his peace in the palace, he wouldn't be thinking of sending them out of the palace. But the fact remains that you cannot bring 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 women together and you do not expect bad blows. You will always get bad blows in abundance, because women, 2 of themselves together, they will always show what makes them women, not to talk of 5, 6 of them, who are also great women, because they are great in their own way, whether you believe it or not. They are great in their own way. But they said when they bring out this royal constitution to judge the king's action against the women, they said it was the same, some of the elders, especially the pro-Naomi among the elders, that analyzes that same constitution to those of them who brought it out to taunt the king, telling them that the king also have the right to say that he wants his wives to live separately, at least for the sake of peace and tranquility in the palace. Yes, because we do know that the women living together, there have been revelations, prophecies, that if the king did not separate them, that something bad might happen, that they might go ahead and hurt each other. So on that note, the king wants them to live separate. As a matter of fact, when the king achieved this thing that he is doing, a lot of them will, thank him later, because what he is trying to do is a great thing. When they lived separately, you find out that this unnecessary competition among them will stop. Or even if it doesn't stop, at least it will be limited. All these fights, all these troubles every now and then. So right now they said, after all of that, the kingmakers, the Odua elders, have judged the case in favor of the king, stating that the women must leave the palace. And according to what we are hearing, they said they have given the women 3 months to leave the palace, and the date for Queen Naomi's return, final return, according to what we are hearing, they said is June 2nd. June 2nd. The reason why it will take this long, according to what we are hearing, is because the women, the elders gave them 3 months. Within these 3 months, they will make sure that they get a house while the king pays for it. And again, the reason why the king extended it to that is such that the house, from what we heard, they said Dr. Elizabeth went and bought a house. Initially, they said Queen Naomi accepted that she is going to stay in the palace with Dr. Elizabeth. But Dr. Elizabeth said no, that she wouldn't want anything that will make Queen Naomi to change her mind over coming back to the palace, because the king's BP is rising, according to Dr. Elizabeth and what we are hearing allegedly. So she wouldn't want that to continue. Queen Naomi might be accepting to return now because of pressure the king is mounting on her and all of that. But when she look around and see that Dr. Elizabeth is there, she might decide to either delay or decide not to come back. So they said, when Queen Naomi said she's going to stay in the palace with Dr. Elizabeth refused. And they said Dr. Elizabeth went and bought a house. But the king refunded her the money that she used to buy the house and bought a land and was building a house for Dr. Elizabeth. So that is the reason why they extended it till 2nd day of June 2024. So that by that time, all of these things would have been sorted out and the women will move to their various houses, so that Queen Naomi is going to return back to the palace, just him and the king with our prince, Prince Tadenikawo. So guys, it is indeed a good news to us. Those of you who doesn't like it, look for a transformer around you. But for me, it is indeed a good news. Guys, what do you think? Anyways, subscribe to my channel if you're yet to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Please consider giving this video a thumbs up and share my video. My God will bless you. Don't forget that they are all alleged information, okay? Always bear that in mind. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Love you guys.